Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of What We're Drinking at the Met. Today we're going to focus on Cabernet Sauvignon. Cab is one of the noble grapes of Bordeaux, arguably also the noble grape of Northern California, especially if you're considering Napa. Now, Cab grows very differently in each of these regions. If you come to our retail wine rack and pick up a Cab for dinner that night at home, be mindful that the flavor profiles will be different depending on where the grapes are grown. Cab is one of the planet's great red grapes and probably the most traveled red wine varietal. In France, Cab is synonymous with the Bordeaux region, which is located in the central coast of western France. This region is traditionally thought of in two sections. The right bank, which is actually the northern bank of the river, that produces mostly Merlot-based blends. Now the left bank, which is the southern side of the river, produces blends comprised mostly, if at all, of Cabernet Sauvignon. If you blind taste test wines like we do here at the Met to see what we like, Cab is probably one of the easiest wines to pick out of a lineup. It's highly expressive, full-bodied, it presents with a lot of power, good structure, and usually has a very strong intensity. It's a later ripener, especially in the warmer climates where it's grown in some years, and especially in its homeland of Médoc in France. I would consider it mostly a dry red wine. It has very ripe dark fruit, dark berries and currants, especially when it's perfectly ripe. You might even get a little bit of cedar and some mint. Its acidity is relatively high, and it could also be very tannic. It could produce, due to this flavor structure, it could produce some of the longest living and longest lasting and most intriguing red wines of all the world. This week, we're going to feature 4 different wines. The first is the Insignia from Joseph Phelps, crafted from 6 of Joseph Phelps' estate wineries, recognized as one of the world's greatest wines. In 2002, this version was Wine of the Year by Wine Spectator, and after this year, the label has hit its 20th consecutive vintage to earn 90-point scores from Robert Parker's Wine Advocate. Our second wine is the Dark Horse. After the primary fermentation of the Dark Horse Cab, a portion of the wine was ultra-filtered to kind of refine the tannins and remove some of the bitterness. The wine, however, still maintains its structure and has very good concentration of flavor. The grape sourcing was mostly from Lodi and Delta. The warm fermentation, and again, wines can be fermented either in cool temperatures or warm temperatures, was used to provide the great color and fruit characteristics of this wine, which was housed mostly in stainless steel for the first 4 to 9 months to preserve its aromas and flavors. The palate is rich, intense, with some flavors of mocha, actually, dark fruits, and hints of oak. And it's a steal of a wine for the Met at $9.99. Our recommendation is you buy a case for the holiday season. Another Cabernet that we're going to be focusing on is the Felino from Argentina, another 90-point beauty from Wine Spectator. It reveals an alluring nose of cedar, violets, tobacco, and assorted black fruit. It's nicely concentrated and balanced. It's optimum to drink right now or in a few years. And again, from Robert Parker, thought it was an outstanding value at $19.99. The final cab that we're going to be talking about today is the Chateau d'Armagnac, one of those great left bank cab blends from Bordeaux. Harvested between late September and mid-October, it's a mix of mostly cab, but a little bit of Merlot to cut the tannins, Cab Franc, and a little Petit Verdot to give it a wonderful intense color that almost is black in the glass. The nose usually opens with this wine with ripe fruit aromas, especially black cherries, followed by toasted and roasted notes. It's immediately powerful on the palate with rounded tannins and fruit flavors that develop notes of vanilla, roasted coffee, and toasted nuts. It's long in the mouth and has a hint of oakiness. Thank you for joining me this week at What to Drink at the Met. Here is to enjoying time with wine effectively.